Good afternoon and welcome to the Daily News Analysis by Civil Service Institute Pala. Let's look at the top stories of the day. Supreme Court lets Election Commission revision continue. Ladakh to Arunachal, 30 defense projects get wildlife panel note. Lotus blooms in Vular Lake after 30 years. Critical tiger habitat of 𝗗𝗶𝗃𝗃 Reserve to be redrawn. Let the rivers talk to each other. Tribal women in 𝗗𝗃𝗃𝗃 join hands to end menstrual stigma. Center UNICEF to provide career counseling for 𝗗𝗃𝗃𝗃 students. TB death audits like maternal mortality model can aid elimination. Finally, World Population Day. Moving to the news in detail, let's start with the first article. Supreme Court lets Election Commission revision continue. As you all know, the special intensive revision in the Bihar electoral rolls are being carried out, and it was in the news for the past couple of days. So this becomes important both from prelims and mains perspective. So please follow this news attentively. The Supreme Court was hearing pleas against the special intensive revision of the voter list in Bihar. The Supreme Court asked the Election Commission to consider Aadhaar, elector photo identity card, that is the EPIC, and ration card as proof for voter registration in the ongoing special intensive revision of the electoral rolls in Bihar. The court said its judicial review of the SIR would focus on the Election Commission's power to undertake the exercise, the manner in which it was conducted, and the chosen timing, which it described as very short. It noted that the revision in Bihar appeared nebulous, neither summary nor special as defined under Section 21 of the Representation of Peoples Act 1950. The Election Commission objected to Aadhaar, stating it was a document for identity verification and not a proof of citizenship. Aadhaar, it said, was also issued to non-citizens who were ordinarily resident at a place. So let's wait and watch what will happen in Bihar with the assembly elections in a couple of months, coming up in a couple of months. Moving on to the next news. Ladakh to Arunachal, 30 defense projects get wildlife panel note. From infrastructure for a forward aviation base, facilities for missiles and vital road linkages along the line of actual control, the LAC, the Standing Committee of the National Board for Wildlife has approved proposals for critical defense projects along the boundary with China, stretching from eastern Ladakh to Sikkim to Arunachal Pradesh. The committee also cleared construction of the Arunachal Frontier Highway through the core zone of the Namdapha Tiger Reserve. A 10-kilometer road link between 𝗗𝗏𝗃𝗏𝘆 to the border personnel meeting hut where senior Indian and Chinese army officers meet to discuss border issues was also cleared. 𝗗𝗏𝗃𝗏𝘆 is the country's northernmost military outpost where the highest airstrip is also located. The projects require wildlife clearance since they are located across the Karakoram Wildlife Sanctuary and Changtang Cold Desert Sanctuary in Ladakh, the Bang Wildlife Sanctuary in Arunachal, and Pangolaka Sanctuary in Sikkim. Other critical projects which got approved include those for housing troops of artillery regiment and a field hospital, housing troops for reconnaissance and observation flight, holding of helicopters, construction of aviation infrastructure for a forward aviation base at 𝗗𝗃𝗃𝗃, and creation of technical infrastructure to locate equipment of short-range surface-to-air missiles. Why this becomes important? On the other side of LAC, Chinese especially is building a concrete road out of the concrete road in the higher reaches of Himalayas. Out of the 30 defense and infrastructure projects, 26 of them are located in Ladakh, which is very strategic, both from security angle and location-wise. Lotus blooms in Vular Lake after 30 years. Something remarkable is happening at Vular, Asia's largest freshwater lake located in Bandipora. The idyllic lake, located some 67 kilometers from Srinagar and surrounded by the misty 𝗗𝗏𝗃 Mountains, is once again becoming home to lotuses 30 years after a devastating flood completely wiped them out of the area. The change has been brought about thanks to the conservation efforts by the Bula Conservation and Management Authority. The authority had begun desilting the lake in an effort to clear silt deposits from the flood. For a population struggling with failing income and rising unemployment, the development has economic implications. It means the revival of lotus stem harvesting, a traditional occupation here in the area. Critical tiger habitat of 𝗗𝗃𝗃 Reserve to be redrawn. So where is 𝗗𝗃𝗃 Tiger Reserve located? It is situated in the state of Rajasthan in western India. The Standing Committee of the National Board for Wildlife has approved the proposal to redraw and rationalize the boundaries of 𝗗𝗃𝗃 Tiger Reserve's critical tiger habitat and buffer areas. The committee's decision was accompanied by caveats, and it will also be referred to the Supreme Court, which is suo motu examining a host of issues relating to the 𝗗𝗃𝗃 Tiger Reserve, including the rationalization of its boundaries. So what is a critical tiger habitat? A critical tiger habitat is an area within a tiger reserve that is to be kept free of human activity and presence to aid tiger conservation and tiger breeding, as per the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Among the conditions specified while approving the proposal was protection of areas with low tiger density due to their continued ecological significance and role in providing landscape connectivity. It also directed that protection measures should be maintained or strengthened in the proposed buffer area and critical tiger habitat through enhanced patrolling, community management, and habitat monitoring. In May last year, the Supreme Court had directed the closure of several stone, limestone, and dolomite mines in and around 𝗗𝗃𝗃. The southern part of the 𝗗𝗃𝗃 Tiger Reserve is rich in marble and dolomite deposits in the 𝗗𝗏𝗃 range. So the Tiger Reserve is under the clutches of quarrying and mining mafia. So Central Empowered Committee observed that the Tiger Reserve's critical tiger habitat has fragmented, which led to legal and management challenges, mining being the most important challenge. Let the rivers talk to each other. This is from the Indian Express's editorial. Here we are looking at the Namami Ganga project. Cleaning the Yamuna is among the top priorities of the newly elected government in Delhi. Yamuna is also a part of Namami Ganga program. So Delhi's state-driven effort to clean the Yamuna carries the prospect of valuable reciprocal learning, which can help shape a comprehensive policy ecosystem for rejuvenating India's rivers. The Namami Ganga program was launched in 2014 as the Government of India's flagship program and can boast of a considerable impact in improving the water quality and ecological status of the Ganga. Besides the recent Cleaner Mahakumbh, the National Mission for Clean Ganga offers the rising populations of keystone species such as the Gangetic dolphin as evidence of the improved ecological status of the river. In over a decade of its implementation, the Namami Ganga program's responsive policy and institutional experiments stand out as a departure from the earlier Ganga Action Plan. Implemented in mission mode, the Namami Ganga program has interesting legal and institutional innovations to its credit. The foremost among these is that it has shifted from the regulatory framing of what was the Ministry of Environment and Forest to an executive approach in the Ministry of Jal Shakti. The program also marks a shift from pollution abatement to improving the ecological condition of the river. The program has pursued a river basin approach informed by a plan produced by a consortium of the Indian Institutes of Technology. The National Mission for Clean Ganga was accorded the status of an authority soon after it was launched through the River Ganga Rejuvenation, Protection and Management Authority's Order of 2016. The National Ganga Council is headed by the Prime Minister, with the Chief Ministers of the riparian states and 10 Union Ministers as members. The Council guides an empowered task force headed by the Union Minister for Jal Shakti and an Executive Council headed by the National Mission for Clean Ganga's Director General with extensive financial and regulatory powers. Delhi's Yamuna project is a particularly complex one and can therefore make a useful contribution to the program, to the mother program, that is the Namami Ganga program. The Yamuna, like all other major Indian rivers, is an interstate river. Improving its ecological status depends on reliable interstate cooperation mechanisms for enduring outcomes, a challenge that Delhi will need to address. At the same time, is about the water quality deterioration due to a pollutant load of close to 80% from the city-state of Delhi. Studies have shown that Delhi's uncaptured and untreated sewage is responsible for the pollution load in the Yamuna. This is a classic instance where improvement in river water quality directly depends on improved urban governance. The Namami Ganga program can potentially leverage responses like Delhi's cleaning of the Yamuna towards creating a policy and institutional ecosystem to rejuvenate India's rivers. This article is important and can be quoted and can be referred or given as example in ethics case studies or in GS1. Here, tribal women in Gadchiroli's 𝗓𝗗𝘗𝘃𝗀𝘆 join hands to end menstrual stigma. So the debate between pollution and purity is an age-old question. So here in Maharashtra's Gadchiroli district, women have come together to end the centuries-old practice of isolating themselves in menstruation huts, locally known as 𝗗𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃. So what is 𝗗𝗏𝗃𝗃 system? 𝗗𝗏𝗃𝗃s are small huts used in several tribal villages in Gadchiroli to isolate menstruating women. Many lack toilets, running water, or beds, and during monsoons, women are sometimes forced to stay in cowsheds as the huts become uninhabitable. So rejecting the taboo of menstruation that treated menstruation as impure, rejecting the taboo that treated menstruation as impure, women of all ages in the village have collectively built a space called our rightful home as women. The structure serves not only as a shelter, but also as a community center for meetings and support groups. The initiative was spearheaded by the support from an NGO, Gadchiroli-based NGO called 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗃. They have been working with these women for at least 2 years, and that is when the women proposed an alternative, menstruating and non-menstruating women staying together under one roof. So to manage the sender, one woman from each of the 21 households forms a committee. They collect small contributions of rupees 10 or rupees 20 to cover electricity and maintenance expenses. So this is a women-led initiative for women. So please do refer and make use of such examples in GS1 or GS4, even in essay, etc. It will enhance your answer and it will fetch you more marks. Coming to the next news, here, sender UNICEF to provide career counseling for 𝗗𝗃𝗃𝗃 students. The National Education Society for Tribal Students, that is the NEST, which administers over 470 𝗗𝗃𝗃𝗃 schools for tribal students across the country, has started a program with UNICEF to provide psychometric assessment, career counseling, and training in life skills and self-esteem for approximately 1.38 lakh students enrolled in these schools. The project is called 𝗗𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃, which stands for Tribal Aptitude, Life Skills, and Self-Esteem Hub. The program is an innovative digital platform designed to equip 𝗗𝗃𝗃𝗃 model residential school students with essential tools for self-discovery and career planning. It promotes self-awareness, helps students make informed career decisions, and build essential life skill. A common aptitude test will be designed on this platform for students studying across the 𝗗𝗃𝗃𝗃 schools, which will result in a career card for each student, suggesting the best career option each of them is suited for. The program also includes problem solving, communication, and handling emotions. There will also be a portal that will give educators the resources to effectively mentor and support students in their academic and personal journeys. NEST has also signed 2 memoranda of understanding with Tata Motors and the ex-Navodaya Foundation, an alumni group of the 𝗗𝗲𝗃𝗃 schools, to start coaching programs for 𝗗𝗃𝗃 school students aiming to crack competitive exams like JEE and NEET. TB death audits like maternal mortality model can aid elimination. Soumya Swaminathan emphasizes the need to prioritize reducing TB deaths and prevalence and incidence of the disease, stating that finding gaps, addressing them, and having an ambitious plan need to be focused on. Our short-term focus in the next strategic plan is to reduce TB mortality, she adds. So what is this TB death audit? TB death audit, much like the public health approach adopted by the Center to reduce maternal death, will prove to be useful towards meeting India's TB elimination goals. So Soumya Swaminathan is the principal advisor for the National TB Elimination Program in India. Dr. Swaminathan noted that among the challenges facing National TB Elimination Program is the further reduction in TB mortality rates to meet the End TB and Sustainable Development Goal targets. India has significantly reduced its maternal mortality rate by expanding the scope for institutional delivery, better antenatal and postnatal care by undertaking district-wise maternal death audits, which are headed by the district collectors. Similarly, every TB patient must be clinically evaluated for comorbidities such as diabetes, alcoholism, severe anemia, and risk factors, and these should be treated. She also emphasized the importance of providing good nutrition to TB patients and their families, citing the rations trials led by Anurag Bhargava in Jharkhand. So what is this rations initiative led by Anurag Bhargava? So rations trials led by Anurag Bhargava in Jharkhand among a population with body mass index as low as 16 and 17 has demonstrated that almost 50% in secondary household cases could be prevented by providing good nutritional support. We don't have a vaccine with 50% efficacy. So if we give advocate calories and protein, it acts like a natural protector from bacteria. So commenting on the Nikshay Mitra program floated by the Center for Nutrition Support to TB patients, Dr. Swaminathan said that while the goal was laudable, its success depends on volunteers coming forward to donate nutrition support, and this may not be uniform across all geographies. And the last news of the day, July 11 is celebrated as World Population Day. So with the world's population having crossed the 8 billion mark this year, the United Nations has announced its theme for World Population Day as empowering young people to create the families they want in a fair and hopeful world. With the right investments in education, skills, and access to health, nutrition, and family planning services, India's youth population can boost national progress, says the UNFPA World Population Report. UNFPA is the United Nations Population Fund. The article also mentions about a program, the 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗃 program launched by the government of Odisha in partnership with UNICEF and UNFPA in 2019-2020. This is a model project and it has become example of a best program. It has made strides in preventing child marriage through strategies which include strengthening state systems, fostering awareness about child protection issues, and empowering adolescents through education, skill development, and leadership training. Its youth-focused approach has enabled about 11,000 villages to be declared child marriage-free in 2022. Nearly 950 child marriages were stopped. So this is an example of a best practice model, and the program is called the 𝗓𝗏𝗃𝗃 program, which was implemented in the state of Odisha. The State of World Population 2025 report aptly focuses on rights-based multi-sector investments and highlights that progress hinges on expanding universal access to contraception, safe abortion, maternal health, and infertility care, and also in removing structural barriers such as education, housing, childcare, and workplace flexibility. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has rightly called for this World Population Day to celebrate the potential and the promise the largest ever generation of youth holds. The fertility rate is falling, but much of the alarmism is premature, analytically flawed, and ethically troubling. Countries facing declining fertility need to let go of their ethno-nationalist discourse and support significant societal changes in favor of women and families. The associated fear of a shrinking workforce should not be addressed through forcing women to have more babies, but through hiring them in the paid workforce and not penalizing them for motherhood. The United Nations Population Fund is also advocating among member countries to provide better support and legal recognition for all family types, like with regard to same-sex couples. With this, we come to an end of the session. I hope it was useful. Thank you. Have a nice day.